Okay, good afternoon. Okay, thank you for coming in. Okay. Um, Now we want to do chapter 5, 6, and 7 today. These are not so important chapters because the very important one is I spend a lot of time is on the vision data analysis, whether it's external data analysis environment or data analysis on the internal environment. So today we're going to do these things like strategy formulation, okay, which is here, okay. Uh, so, so how do you actually generate and select strategies? So here we want to be more in depth, more precise, okay. Okay, first look at this chart. Okay, can you see this chart thing?
Yes.
Okay, so we have done the external factor and then the internal factor, and also we have done the competitive. So that is the input stage. Therefore, we are now going to look at the next stage. Okay, so strength awareness, already explained. This not so important strategic. Boston very old one. Grand strategy not interesting. It's only these two that's in interesting. Internal X-ray matrix. So then we want to look at the next step. Okay, how to actually select the actual strategies. Okay, how to frame the strategies. Okay, so this one is just the explanation for business chart. Okay, so now let's look at an example. Okay, so can you see you have a strength and weakness here, and you got opportunity test here. Okay, so you may have identify a few opportunity, identify a few threats, and you may identify a few strength. Okay, and you may identify a few weaknesses. Now, what do I always say? You always try to use your strength to take advantage of your opportunity. So we call this the ESO strategy. Okay, so here I didn't put the weights and the ranking, but I think you can understand what I'm saying. So maybe we will see. Okay, so O3, this is a very important one, got very high marks, okay. So vehicle traffic passing store up to 12%. Okay, so this is a good opportunity, and we can use our strength. Number 4, in-store promotion 20% increase in sales. So we will now look at this, the best of the strength and the best of the opportunity, or the best of the next strength, or the best of the next opportunity. So if you look, you're matching this one, then we can make the strategy. That's how you make strategies. It's not like you wake up in the morning. Okay, so in case you forget, okay, so let's look at chapter 4. Oh, is it chapter 4 or is it chapter 3? Oh, sorry, it's not chapter 4, it's chapter 3. Okay, so if you have the external chapter 2, if you remember chapter 2, we are looking at
Chapter 3. Chapter 3.
chapter 2. Chapter 2 and chapter 3. So if you look at chapter 2, you will have the here. Can you understand? The external factor evaluation, that's where we put the weights, how important the factor, how important this factor are to your industry, and the rating, how effective is your company current strategy in responding to this factor, right? So you have one, maybe, okay, take the highest one, maybe 0.32, right? That is for the opportunity. Now, if you go to chapter 4, sorry, chapter 3, then, okay, you will have the same thing for your internal factor evaluation, So you have all the strength and you have all the weakness and you put the weight and your rating, right? Then you can select your strength, which one is the highest one. Okay, so the weighted score, maybe this is the highest one. Okay, so that's what I mean. When you are in chapter 5, you will put all your strength and weakness here and think you can also put a bracket, the weighted score for, and then you try to match the one with the highest strength with the highest opportunity. So that's how you can make your strategies. So your strategy is using the highest strength with the highest opportunity wherever possible. Okay, wherever possible. Now the next best is the strength, okay, against your threats. Now, if you have already got 3 here, maybe it's enough. You don't have to do the WO strategy and the WT strategy or the ST strategy. That way you can do later. You want to concentrate on, if you got 3, because you have limited resources, you do these 3 first. Okay? Or maybe you feel because of risk management, so maybe you want to do SO1, then ST1, depending on your resources, maybe you can do SO1 and then maybe WO1. Okay, I don't recommend you do more than 3 strategies at any one time. Now this is called the corporate strategy. Okay, this is what we call corporate. So add 4 new store promotion monthly, add 2 new repair service person, send flyers to all seniors over. This should be your corporate strategy for a retail computer store. Okay, so that's how we make strategies. Understand? So okay, the scale matrix is nearly the same thing. Okay, you don't have to worry about all the rest. Okay, so now we have one last time that is called the Boston. You can have dots, stars, question mark, and cash cow. The problem with this kind of strategy is they ask you, hey, do you want to do your which one? You want to do a star strategy? So these are the example: market penetration, market development, or of course you don't want to do dots, okay? Or you want to do number 1 is the best, second one is the cash cow. You want to do diversification, or the last one. This one you never do. That's why I think this is the last one. Market penetration or market development, right? And then these docs, if you are in these docs, if you are in here, you really got a problem. Okay, maybe you should get off on that business, right? Now, what's the problem with this? They asked you to do market penetration, but they didn't tell you how. Or you want to do market development, market penetration, this kind of metrics, it does not tell you how to do it. Only with this method, looking at your strength and opportunity only can tell you how. Can you see? This is very precise. Okay? So this is very precise. Oh, by the way, can you see my cursor? Sure. Hey, is the line dead?
Can hear, yes.
No, can you see my cursor?
No.
Oh, you cannot see my cursor. Okay, hang on. See? Can you see the red cursor?
No.
Yes, now can at the center there.
Okay. So if you want to see market development, how do you do market development? You want to do market penetration. You want to do excitation. Follow the Boston. They tell you detail how to do it. How to do it must be follow SO strategies. You are linking the factor, which factor has the highest weighted score with the highest weighted score here. Sometimes it's the next best strength or sometimes it's the next best opportunity. Do you understand? That's why I say you don't use like this kind of thing, okay? Space metrics, market penetration, how to do. You just study market penetration, they never tell you how to do. aggressive, progressive, all this. It doesn't tell you how to do. That's the problem, to make the strategies. Okay? So I'm not going to go through this. This is an example. So division one or variables division, you do market share, but it didn't. This is all assumption, thinking. It doesn't show you the road to do. It doesn't tell you how to do. Okay? So now that's why I say you must use the internal and external factor evaluation. Okay, so we do again. Okay, now this if we have external environment. Okay, so for example, you got external factors like let's look at Xiaomi. Okay, I think you all know what Xiaomi, the handphone, huh? Okay, so this is a rating, this is a rating, and these are some of the opportunities. Okay, and these are some of the threats. So can you see? Okay, total 2.8. So you will see, got very, this area got a very high opportunity, right? What is that? China GDP growth has grown 6.5 to 9%. So this is a good opportunity. So in the future, maybe it will carry on growing, so people got more money to buy the handphone. Okay, sale of smartphone has grown. Okay, and then maybe penetration rates of smartphone very high. Okay, we can still have from 65 maybe to 85 or 90. So these are all good opportunities, right? So now if you look at the internal environment for Xiaomi, okay, so which is the strength? Okay, price really competitive. The flagship price for Xiaomi 1 to Xiaomi 6 can be rising from 199 to 299. Now this is quite important weight. Okay, quite important weight. And my company, Xiaomi, is doing very well because we are selling actually quite cheap. Okay, this RMB is quite cheap. So we will look at this quite cheap. We can make products quite cheap. And we are now looking at the GDP growth, sales of smartphone, and penetration rate. Okay, so what strategy can we make? Okay, before we go there, can you see here 2.8? The opportunity and threat, and here is 2.9. Remember, when you put the factor, the weighting must all tie back to 1. And when you put the strength and weakness, the weighting must also put back total 1. Right? Weighting for internal, it can be 4 and 3 and 1 and 2. You cannot put 4 here, neither can you put 2 here. This is because we want to emphasize the strength. We don't want to emphasize our weakness. Okay? But the opportunity and threats, okay, can be any number from 1 to 4. Okay? So now you got 2.8 and you got 2.9. Okay? For internal factor. So you actually got a chart here. So the chart here is called the matrix, IE matrix. Okay? So one is 2.8 and one is 2.9. Somewhere around here lah. Okay, so your company Xiaomi is actually a little bit above average here, so you should be able to hold and maintain. Okay, so we are in quadrant. Let me see first. Grow and build. These are the grow and build areas. Okay, the point is in upper left here. Quadrant 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 4. Where is the quadrant really? Okay. The other one is hold and maintain. Okay. And the other one is harvest and diverse. Okay. So 1, 2, and 4. If your this arrow, this star here is around 1, 2, and 4, you are grow. Okay. You should do growth strategies. But if you are hold and maintain, 3, 5. Hang on. Hold and maintain. 1, 2, and 4. This will be 5. Yes, 5 or 7. You are holding. Okay? So, market development or product enhancement. So, if you are divesting, you are here. Okay? 6. Okay? 8, 9. I think. Okay. So, this is the loser one. The loser one, you better get out. Okay? So this is just for information here only. Where are you? It doesn't, this matrix does not tell you how to make a strategy. You make strategy by looking at your stars. Okay? Which one got the highest one? At your star. So the overall strategy for Xiaomi is hold and maintain as in general. But to make the specific strategy, okay? So you look at the S and O first. Okay, next W O or S T. I always look at S O first. Okay, so example. So if you look at S and O opportunity, China is developing. Okay, China handphone sales can go growth. Japan smartphone low penetration. So this one was the 4.51. Okay, now of course you got trade also. Okay, and then you will expect our price is competitive. So you will now look at this strength versus this opportunity. So what should you do? So the first SO strategy is continue to make competitive product and competitive price product. Why you have this thing of strategy? Because your strength, where's your strength? Your price is competitive. Okay, so you need to continue. You don't simply grow because you are still at here, hold and maintain. You don't simply grow. Okay, you just want to have a strategy to make competitive pricing. Okay, understand? And you're going to look at where maybe in Japan to increase because of low penetration. Hopefully, you look at sales growth. Why in China? Because China GDP is growing. That's how you make strategy. Now, I can't teach you the art. The art is you have to learn by yourself. Okay, maybe you now if you are not hold and maintain. Okay, let's say for example your star is not here. Your star is to grow and build. Now, what does that mean? If your star is grow and build, okay, if your star is grow, then your strategy will be a little bit different. Invest more and continue making competitive price product. Okay, because your hold and maintain, we will only ask you to continue to make. But if your star is at the matrix of grow, winner, grow and build, then you will not put the word continue. You will actually invest more. Maybe in Japan, maybe more factory. But because you are hold and maintain, you don't simply go open new factories. Maybe you want to increase your production quantity, you will do by subcon. You don't invest your own money to make a new factory. Is that understood? Okay. Now the second strategy, maybe you want to increase production quantity and sell to, okay, Japan market. Because if you look at the IE metrics here, okay, you also got winners. All is a low driven but outstanding is not enough production capacity. So for this one, maybe you want to increase production quantity to sell to Japan. But please remember, when you say increase production quantity, it's not asking you to make new factories. It's better you go and try subcon. Get subcon to make for you and sell to Japan. Okay? So that's how we do. That's how we make strategies. Okay, the rest is not so important. This is just to inform you there are other strategy. Again, they didn't tell you what to do. Okay? So now this is the QSPM also got nearly the same type of things. They have the weight. They also got opportunity attack. They got weight. Okay, but they miss one thing. They don't have the rating. Okay, so this one you can use, but it's not as good because there's no rating. Okay, so that's it's about it. No, I don't want you in the practical. You may have learned in theory many type of strategies. Okay, for example, you may have learned theory like what is that? Space matrix theory. This all space. Then Boston Group, this very famous. Actually, there's also one more very famous McKinsey, seven strategies. Okay, so so let me show you an example. Okay, so let's look at okay, McKinsey. Let's look at okay. You see, so this is one type of strategy. McKinsey strategy is looking at structure, system, shared values. Okay. Again, it doesn't ask you to look at this framework, but it doesn't actually teach you uh, it doesn't actually teach you how to
How to
make it.
strategize?
Yeah, how not to strategize. No, it's not the correct word. How to make the actual strategy. Okay, how to make the actual strategy. It doesn't teach you that. Okay, so let's say, okay. So can you see you have a linear strategy? Oh God. Okay, type of strategy. Let's click inside it. Awareness, achieve long term, improve, set policy, take initiative. Okay, that one normal, no big deal. Okay, linear strategy management, adaptive strategy management, interpretive strategy management, transcendental, expressive. So let's say, for example, linear. Okay, regional thinking logic are two pillar making style. This strategy management help manager expect changes. Willing to implement this must start with the process of SWOT and analysis to weigh all internal external factor. This one looks like very nice, but there is no format like the IE and the EE. Okay, IEF, internal evaluation and the external evaluation. Okay, they don't put it quite nicely. This is like very general. Okay, if you look, there are many types. Okay, of a strategy. Again, they didn't actually tell you how to actually mix the strategy. Okay, now this is another one. This is quite famous. Oh, it's a video.
Watch what ginger does to metabolism. Most people think of ginger
I'm sorry.
for stomach ache.
I mean, it's
Multiple business strategies for every business segment out there. Despite the infinite list of business strategies, numbers.
okay. You see, organization strategy, corporate strategy, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, this is a cost strategy, business unit, operating strategy, functional. These two can be combined actually. Organization strategy. Now, again, the different type of business strategy, but it didn't tell you in very precise how the wording of, maybe I can say like that. They don't tell you exactly what kind of strategy to make. Okay, so we're using insight from the IEF and the this time you can see my cursor. Can you see my cursor?
Yes, yes.
Okay, once I share, I have to use the pointer. If I don't share, you can see, right? So they don't teach you to do like this. Okay, they don't teach you. Sometimes I would like to have one or two SO and even forget about the WO. Okay, because maybe we have not enough resources. So depending, if you got some resources, you can do a 2 SO and one WO. But I recommend you, these are corporate level strategies. This is not functional. So let's say, for example, continue to make competitive price product. What does that mean for your production department? Production department strategy must strategize how to make cost lower. That's all. Now, what does that mean for marketing department? We have to advertise that our product is competitive price. Okay? Now, what does it mean for finance department? We have this kind of strategy. Okay, we have to make sure, okay, our products we sell, then must collect back the money as soon as possible. What are the strategy to do that? Because our quantity can go up, right? Then, what is for finance? They may have to consider what is the commission to be paid to the salespeople. What is HR supposed to do? HR has to continue training the people, training programs for
Optimize.
cost reduction or quality assurance. So the various functional, I use the word functional because it's function. The HR function, the marketing function, the production function, the QA function, right? The warehouse function, all these functional department strategies must be made by each of the functional department head to support these strategies. Understand? And this strategy comes from this analysis. And this analysis comes from
Internal and external access.
yes, the star here. And remember, the star here will show you the matrix, but also be careful of where is the star. You know, this star come from where, huh? You know, huh? Come from here, the grand total. So, do you realize if your star is varying, how to make this, how to have this one very big number? You can have this one very big number if the weighting here, total is 1, a lot of weighting is in the strength. Very little weighting is in the weakness. And the weighting here is all 4, 4, 3. Here is 1. Only that this will increase. What does that mean? That means you will have a lot of strength. Therefore, you will have a lot of big number here. Same as the external factor. How to get a big number here? Therefore, there must be a lot of opportunity that has got a lot of weighting. Okay, of course, total is 1. That means maybe here is a lot and here is only 0.01, 0.02, 0.03. And then the weighting here will be very heavy and here will be very light. Then you get this big number. So if you get big number, what does that mean? Factors, opportunity, very good. Big number means your strength is very good. Correct? So if your strength and your quantity are very good, where are you? You are here. Winner. Yes. But if you are not, then you are somewhere here. Right? You're somewhere here. If you are somewhere here, please, okay, remember, when you do this business, put the wording here. Put the wording here. Where are you? Are you hold or maintain or grow? Because we know we must make competitive pricing product. Will it be continue? Yes, because you are hold and maintain. But if the word here is grow, it's not continue. Invest more. Have more factories. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
You are very clear. But I can teach you the science. I cannot teach you the art. Where is the art? The art is here. The factor recognition and the weight and the weighting. This one cannot blah blah cannot be biased. And this one and this one come from where? Antenna. Your antenna must be very high. Okay? And you get your boss to support you. Let your boss identify the opportunity and threats. Let your boss also identify the strength and weakness together with you. Then you can buy off. Because if your boss also is part of the picture in making the OTSW, they can easily accept and they can understand what is going on. You have to explain to them, and that's why we are in average, okay, and that is why we can make. Now, if your Few years come to here, and you will think about how to get out of this business, or try to sell your business to another person. Or maybe it's only loser for a while. Okay, you still have confidence, then you will have carry on with the strategies. You're still loser. You are loser, okay? You are loser. Can you carry on the strategies? Yes. Make competitive product. But if here you are loser, then you may have to cannot continue to make. You have to make even cheaper products. Or because you are a loser, okay, you know how to make competitive price product. Maybe you become a subcon and you don't sell under your own brand name. Okay?
White label.
So this, understand? So all these are signs. Okay? I can teach you. Art, I cannot teach you. So far, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So what should you do now? This is a practical class. I always teach, that's why I say some of the strategy I can teach you, but I'm not going to teach you because I don't spend much time because it's not correct. What I want you to do is you go back home. Okay, maybe most of you are home now. Draw some internal factor evaluation. Draw some external factor evaluation. Just add a 3 or 4 rating, add up to 1, put the rating correctly, right? Then look at where your wonderful stars are. Then write down. Actually write down. Okay? Your AVIV example or the IFVs, and looking from here, try to make your own strategy considering the red color, whether you are growing, hold or maintain, or you are loser. Okay? That will give you training, okay, on how to do this. Okay? Now, if what you have done for your company is different from what the company currently is doing, well, it depends. If you are junior level, you don't have much of a shouting voice, right? But if you are quite senior, you can actually challenge the current strategies. And how do you challenge? You show them this one. You show them your IE, okay, and your EE. Show them this one. And they say this is wrong. Okay, if you are wrong, if your bigger boss say that I am wrong or that you are wrong, ask them to put in their own factor and ask them to put in their own rating. Ask them to do the OT and SW. That is my practical example for you. Because last time when I introduced this one, my boss had never heard of this thing before, you understand? Okay? So when I try to come up my one, then they say, oh, no, I don't think it's correct. Okay, you say I'm not correct, then I challenge you, you put in your own. What's wrong? Okay? You have one whole day, sit down together, senior management, you put your own rating, get your marks, point at here, whichever is here, then do this example, and does it tie back to your current strategy? And if it doesn't tie back to the current strategy, boss, I will say, boss, now you do your own IE and EE, right? And it doesn't come back to your current strategy. Either the current strategy is wrong, or the whole of this method is wrong. If the whole of this method is wrong, but you are the one who's making the boss is the one who's making this one. Understand? Wait, can you hear what I'm saying? Oh, the line is dead. Where am I now? Hello, Chua.
Yes,
Hey.
yes, Mr. Cha, we can hear you. We can hear you, Mr. Cha.
Oh, okay. So can you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
What do you get? You will get recognition that you are a potential star. Why are you a star? You become a star because you can come up with strategic management that works. Okay? It may be different from your current strategy. Okay? So your current strategy may be wrong. And you can get your management involved. Sometimes I come up strategy, my boss don't agree. Okay, like you don't agree, you make your own. Then we go sit down together, you make your IE, you make your IE, you put in your metrics, then we look at the writing out the wording, then you put the scenario, you know, put the wording in the scenario. What does it tell you, boss? That's all. Other people cannot do. You want to be promoted, you must do. What happened to the other functional manager? The HR, the production, I don't know, the QA, the finance, the what? They're all doing their own functional job. They never rise to the next level. What is the next level? Survival profitability of your company, not function. Not very good in HR. I can hire better HR. I can subcon the HR function. Understand? You are very good in accounting, I can hire another accountant. I can subcon out. That is very difficult. And we should not be hire out or subcon out strategic management. Okay? Because your antenna must be very high. Then only you can realize, if your antenna not high, fine. Ask your boss to put in. Your boss antenna should be higher, isn't it? Then they have the correct strategy. Now, the thing is, if you don't have the correct strategy, okay, it's maybe you are still surviving maybe because you are lucky, you are big enough, you can withstand in the short term. Don't forget, your competitor is not sitting down. Your competitor want to kill you because they want to take over your market share and your profit. Okay? So far, understand what I'm trying to tell you? Go and challenge yourself. Go and challenge your boss. Think about it. When I say challenge me, I don't ask you to go and fight. Okay? Okay? Just do for yourself. Right now. Okay, do for your company. Right now. Just do this. I get to know how to do this way. Okay? Then you can come up with actual strategies. That is called the corporate level strategies. Okay? So now where am I now? Hang on. Wait, I just want to check, is it still recording? Okay, it's still recording, so no problem. Wait, wait. I want to, wait. I want to see attendance first before I forget. Okay. My class practical. Okay. Theory not so good. Theory I can teach you. Cannot go outside. Okay. Okay, now we go to the next level. Can you remember this is chapter 6, correct? So just now we finished chapter 5. Chapter 5 is to get the corporate strategy. Okay? Now every function, business or corporate level, all this lower level strategy must support just now the chapter 5. Okay? So where are we now? Establish already. Okay? Choose a strategy already. Okay? Now, it's somewhere here, okay? Now, I want to talk about something that is quite common, okay? Wait, my line not so good. I want to take away the camera, okay? Now, you can still see, Now, this is MBO, very popular. Define company goals, set objectives, monitor progress, performance, provide feedback, motivate. This is normal. I think everybody know already. Okay? Now, where is the company goals? Just now, chapter 5. Okay? That is the corporate strategy goal. Now you must set objective by your department. Okay? Or if your company very big, okay, let's look at Coca-Cola worldwide. Okay? Now, can Coca-Cola make a corporate strategy for the headquarters? Yes. So they have a goal. They make a strategy. But sometimes Coca-Cola also, because it's so big and every country is a little bit different, so they can make chapter 5 strategy by country. Okay? So Coca-Cola India is the corporate strategy is different from Coca-Cola Japan. Okay, or Coca-Cola US. Why? Because the OT and SW is different from every country. Understand? Okay, so now let's say you already got the corporate strategy. Okay, then you set the objective for every one of the functional department. Now, if your antenna is not good, okay, if your antenna is not good, your internal evaluation is don't do correctly because you don't understand the strength and weakness of your internal company, right? Then your corporate strategy is not so good. And because the corporate strategy is not so good, now setting objective by functional level is not so good. That's why I spend so much time in the external and the internal is because I want you to understand antenna is very important. You may have do the wrong antenna. For example, you do the wrong strengths. Okay? When you do the wrong strength, therefore, you may have a different type of corporate strategy. And once you have this different or wrong strategy, then setting of objective will be difficult. But if your internal has done very well, internal assessment done very well, your set objectives is easy to set. And people can accept. Okay? So the last one very simple, monitor progress, provide feedback, and motivate and reward success. These are all normal. Okay? So this area here is actually no big deal. Okay? It's actually no big deal because you define your company goals or corporate strategy is done correctly, especially in the internal assessment. Okay? Now, if you say setting objective is very difficult, okay? Now, why? Because objective will be by the functional strategies. So the functional strategy is very difficult to make. Why is it functional difficult to make? Because your corporate strategy is wrong. Why is your corporate strategy wrong? Because your internal and external are done not so good. That's all only. Okay? So, now we talk about long-term objectives. So just now we're talking about the strategies in the previous chapter. Is it supposed to be long-term or short-term? Hopefully it should be long-term. Okay, what is long-term? Depending on company, maybe not less than 1 year. 3 years, 2 years, 5 years. 3 years is quite normal. Some company got 20 years long-term one, friend. Okay, in the very capital intensive industry, let's say oil refinery, oil exploration, okay, mining. Okay, so I cannot tell you. You have to decide for yourself. Okay, but anyway, all the time OTSW keep on changing, so you may have to change your strategies. Okay, so when you set objective, please be very clear. Okay, so now just now in chapter 5, we just say, all right, continue with competitive pricing. Okay, once you got that level, now you want to go a little bit more detail, you put numbers, friend. Okay, competitive pricing means what? Cannot be more than 10% pricing up, you know, that kind of measurable one. It's easy to understand one, okay? It's achievable. Now, it will be achievable basically because your antenna is good, your IE and your OTSW is good, then it's very easy to be achieved, okay? Consistent vertical horizontal in the chain of command also important. Okay, must be realistic. Again, your antenna must be good, okay, to be realistic. So now sometimes the wording get very confusing. Okay, now I like to use the word corporate strategy. Chapter 5 is corporate strategy. Okay, chapter 6 is functional business. Okay, or corporate level strategies. So chapter 5 is up and chapter 6 is a second or third level of the chain of command. Okay? So now what happens if you don't manage by objective? That means your functional department don't have strategy to support the corporate strategy. You're managing by crisis lah, everyday fighting lah. One of the worst one, managing by hope. Managing by extrapolation. That means carry on lah. Last time what we do, maybe we can improve 10%, so we just carry on. Whatever you carry on, maybe it's not the correct thing to be carried on. That's a problem. Managing by mystery. What do you mean by that? If you don't commit the corporate strategy known to everybody, if you don't have a strategy meeting with the functional manager where they will come back their strategy, you always need to have a corporate strategy to be informed to all the functional heads. And then ask the functional head to make their own functional or departmental strategy and call them all in, and each one of them must explain their own strategy to support the corporate strategy. Now, I give you an example, okay? Let's say now we say we'll continue with making competitive product, Xiaomi. Okay, that's a corporate strategy. Okay, I think competitive product pricing means cannot be more than 5%, okay, from the previous year price increase. Okay, we have new features, okay, new features make the product 10% better, we only increase our price 5% better. Okay, so now make every known, then call all the various department, hey, we now want to make competitive pricing, product, okay, purchasing you buy correctly, production you don't have so much spoilage, okay, and logistic, we cannot sell competitive if your logistic costs keep on going up like crazy, okay, then you call all of them, they make their own strategy how they do, right? So maybe production will say, okay, to continue making competitive pricing, we may have to upgrade our machine. That's what production say. Now, finance department is here also, but they must listen already. Okay, and then financial department, oh, buy new machine. Okay, what type of machine? How much it costs? Let's do a capital expenditure analysis using net present value or internal rate of return. Look at the forecast, the cash flow. Okay, and then maybe the cash flow, make it into 3 scenarios with a probability, most optimistic, average, and pessimistic, and that should be the cash flow for this machine A, or cash flow for machine B, or cash flow for machine C. And then the finance department will say, okay, if I want to borrow money, how much we are paying for interest, this and that. All these buckets must come together. Now, I don't want it happens that sometimes we go crazy. We're going to make competitive pricing. Fine. So our raw material costs cannot go very high. So the purchasing department will have a strategy. Purchasing department, okay, we will source for low pricing. Everybody happy. Then later on, the production use the lousy material, got a lot of spoilage, a lot of wastage. So we complain to the production department, why you have a lot of spoilage? Production department say, because the purchasing department buy cheap, lousy, low quality parts. Then we ask purchasing department, why you buy this kind of thing? But purchasing department say, hey, I do that because it's for my own strategy. I achieve my strategy, I get bonus and promotion. So I buy cheap parts now. You know, same thing happened to HR. HR want to reduce the cost of labor cost. HR will employ not so qualified people, cheap people, and SEC maybe the experience and expensive people. And then production suffer, or logistics suffer, or marketing suffer. So when you are managing by mystery means everybody go by their own way. And the result come out is a mystery. Why the result come out like that? Right? And we have to dig deep. So try, even before you implement the functional, get all the functional strategies together, sit down with all the managers, big meeting, match and see whether the strategy are matching at all. Does one functional department strategy create havoc in another functional area? Okay, and don't forget, because many companies are using KPI, key performance index, and if they will get their key performance index, they hopefully thought they will get promotion. So once a year, bring out the KPI, or 6 months once, 1 year, 2 times, bring out the KPI, right? Oh, you succeed in your KPI. Okay, you get bonus, promotion. But they're succeeding, purchasing succeeding in KPI is killing production. That's what you do not want. Okay, so therefore you must monitor when the thing is actually running, even before monitor actually running, you must make sure that all the functional strategies do not conflict with each other. And the best way is to call everybody in and ask them to explain their own strategies to the big boss, and also listen by the other functional people. That's the best way. So far, understand? Sure. Understand?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, having said that, so you got many types of strategy again, forward, integration, backward. Now, you can group your strategy. You make your strategy in the chapter 5, right? This is chapter 6. Now, your functional strategy can be grouped by various ways. Is it forward, backward, horizontal, market, development? So you can now use the strategy wording down there. Continue with pricing. Continue with pricing. Is it forward, backward, or horizontal? Or is it market penetration, or market development, or product development? It can be a mixture. If you are continuing with competitive pricing, most likely you're doing product development and market penetration and market development. So you are doing this. So for this, these are definitions and these are some of the examples. Okay? What's the difference between market penetration and market development? The market is 100 buyers. 50% taken by your competitor. You only got 30%. And ABC one is 50% of market share, the other one is 30%, you are 20%. Market penetration is taking your 20%, go to 40%. There's still 100 buyers. You just take other people's market share. What is market development? You got 100 buyers, develop it to become 150. Okay, if you are making shoes, okay, now you're making baby shoes. Come, let's make men shoes. You are making men and baby shoes, let's make women shoes. That is called market development. Okay, product development, improve the present products. Maybe baby shoe, got some lighting one, got some voice, whatever the gimmick, then it's called product development. Okay, now forward integration means forward, backward, horizontal. Okay, now let's start with the easy one, backward. Okay, let's say you're making cars. Cars, you must buy tire, isn't it? You must have tire, isn't it? So the backward integration is you buy a rubber estate, make your own rubber. Then from your own rubber, make your own tires. That is called for backward integration. Back to your suppliers. Forward means you go ahead. Last time you're making cars, okay, you give it to let's say I'm Toyota, I give to the all the outside small shop to sell Toyota. But instead of doing that, now I make my own sales branches. That is called forward integration. Horizontal integration, I'm Toyota, hey, let's take over Honda. That's it. That is called horizontal, right? What I worry is people look at these wordings here, okay, and then they say, okay, okay, we will do market penetration. That's it. So we think how to do market penetration. You can only do market penetration with IE and EE. You cannot just wake up and say, okay, I want to do market penetration. We think how to do it. Okay? Now, see. Market penetration. Sees increase market share. Same population. Okay? For present product. In same population. In present markets. Okay? Through marketing efforts. So what did he do? He signed terms. Under Armour, signed tennis champion for a 4 years deal. But is that what the IE and EE says? If the IE and EE doesn't say like that, then why are you doing like that? Understand? That's what I worry. I see many cases of many of my friends of other companies, they just want to do one integration, one strategy. And from there, they work backwards without looking at the IEEE. And that's why it's wrong. Okay? And therefore, they will get themselves into wasted resources, wasted time. Okay? Okay, so you got related, diversification, unrelated. Unrelated means adding new or, okay, now I'm making shoes. Suddenly I want to make cars. That is called unrelated. This is very dangerous. If you do a joint venture, or you do a merger, or you do an acquisition, sometimes you need to retain the other fella, the old company, some of the key people. You don't let the key people go away. You want to make sure, okay, good example, I give you a good example. Let's say Google want to take over Microsoft, okay, crazy, okay? Google want to take over Microsoft. Google must check all the patents that in Microsoft, is it in Microsoft company's name or is in the individual Mr. John Smith name? Because if Google take over Microsoft and the Microsoft office, that patent is held by one employee and the employee decided to resign, he carried the patent with him. You understand? So it's very important if you are doing unrelated diversification, you must make sure all the patents is with the company you are acquiring, not under any individual name, not under the founder name, not under Bill Gates' name or something like that, right? So, okay, related one, not so bad. Okay, so let's say for example, Toyota. So they want to have a related diversification. So what do? They create Lexus, okay, for high-end. So Toyota created Lexus for high-end and created Daihatsu for low-end. Okay, so it's related. Not so bad. It's still cars. Maybe higher, very high grade for Lexus, maybe not so high grade for Daihatsu, but it's still within the same industry. But if it's in unrelated, entirely different type of, you must be very careful. Okay, retrenchment, that's why you want to be a very important person in your company so that you do not get retrenched. I'm going to tell you, I don't care which functional area you are, I can replace you. Or I can subcon out. What are the jobs that cannot be subcon out? Maybe the chairman, the board of directors, some maybe can also be subcon out. Okay, or a strategic manager. A strategic manager has very little chance of retrenchment. That is why it's important for you to know strategic management. That's why it's important for you to become a strategic manager, to become a general manager, to become a director. I don't need you to become a CFO. Okay? Why? I can replace CFO. But I cannot replace easily the strategic manager. Because they are the one who has got the big antenna and they are the one who's making the IE and the EE. Okay? Oh, the other one is you can liquidate. Sometimes, if your industry is not doing well, let's say for example, you're doing mineral water, profit margin very low lah. So you got some cash lah. So maybe you want to go to another type of industry. Let's say you want to go to, from mineral water, you're going to shoe, because the shoe industry seems to be making a lot of profit. Okay, so sometimes it's dangerous because your culture, your IE, your internal one, you may have very good strength and weakness in your mineral water business. You don't have any IE in the shoe business, but you're going to take over another company or you want to set up a new industry by yourself. Sometimes it's very difficult unless you have the IE, because it's outside very competitive. Okay. Large companies, so corporate, division, functional, finance, marketing, or division. Let's say in Nestle, you have one division for Milo, another division for yogurt, another division for Nestle, various type of ice cream. Okay, so a small company, you don't have a divisional, but it works all the same. Only here, the orange color one is the chapter 5. Okay, The divisional one and the functional one, operation level is all the various levels to support the orange color. Okay. Performance measure by organization level. See, let's look at the corporate level. 75% based on long term, 25%. So 50-50, 25, then 25. Can you understand? Now, what does that mean for you? The chapter 5, corporate strategy, your long term must be very good. Therefore, your objective or strategy should be very good. And they will pay you accordingly. So you want to be in this level. You do not want to become the head of HR. You don't want to become the CFO of finance. No, that's not high enough. Okay, that's not high enough for you. Okay, if you want, you become an executive director. Okay, a strategist. Okay, and the CFO and the HR all report to you because you are the executive director. Okay, okay, the rest not so important. Market management, market development. Okay, this is some of the things that you can read by yourself, right? Market development. So you can just read yourself, nothing much on. Okay. Liquidation guidelines. Okay. Okay. One of the things that we find that's having problem, I think will be implementing strategies. Oh, I think maybe chapter 7. Okay, that's all I want to say. Okay. See, two generic strategy. Okay, here's another one more. Be careful of this kind of teaching. Okay. Here. Value chain. Sales, marketing, salesperson, and customer service. This is just the value change. Okay. Typical manufacturing company. And then for each one of them, you identify the value chain. What are they good in? Core competency. Then some call into distinctive competency, some giving you sustainable advantage. So you can read for yourself. It sounds logical. Does it work? That's the issue. Okay. So now we have a Michael Porter 2 generic strategy. Okay. Now this one, Michael Porter talk about competitive advantage, which is very good. Scope, niche market or overall total market. If your cost is very low and you want to attack the total market, let's say you're making mineral water, okay, you want to attack the whole Malaysian market, you better go and do cost leadership. What does that mean? You must make product very cheap. Okay, now, if you want to control the whole market, but you want to be differentiated, you want to make oxygen, mineral water, okay, so it's called differentiation. Okay, now, if you want to only talk about niche market, this mineral water you drink already, okay, it's very niche one, okay, maybe this one is halal water. Example, okay, halal water is cost focused. Okay, so you try to reduce your cost and sell only to the halal. Now, differentiation, same to very special market, and your product is very different. So, for mineral water, you must be very niche. So maybe it comes with a superior glass instead of a plastic, right? Something like that. Okay, so that's called differentiation. So you wake up in the morning and say, okay, I want to do cost leadership. This is wrong. I always repeat, this is wrong. Of course, I'm an old man, I keep on repeating. Each time you select, it's wrong. Why? Why you select this is wrong? It looks very easy. Scope, total market, niche market, you want to compete on cost, you want to compete on the different product quality, differentiation. Why this is wrong? Because they don't understand the OTSW. That's all. Okay, don't get confused. You may be attending other classes or you may read strategy management. It's good in theory but not good in practice. Oh, yo, I think all these people are going to school me because Mr. Chia is going to say something like that crazy. Okay. Best way, you try and learn it yourself. You try to prove yourself. Okay. You can do the IEE method one way and let's go and do the generic way or the Boston way and see where you land yourself. Okay. I think that's the best. Proof is the teacher. Okay. Now, any question on chapter 6? So far, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Can we take a 10 minutes break? Because we got one more chapter to do, and that is called chapter. Run away already. Chapter 2, chapter 3. Oh, we done, yeah, chapter 7. The next one. So 5, 6, 7. So 10 minutes break. Now is 4:15. We come back in 4:25. Okay? Okay. You're back in the class already, huh? Okay. King, you're in the class, huh? Okay, so we continue. Now we come to strategy implementation. Okay, so let's look where are we now. Okay, you generate your strategy, then we want to implement the strategies. Okay. Now, before we go any more detail, I think many of you are quite familiar with what is KPI, Key Performance Index, right? Maybe they will review every quarterly or 6 monthly or once a year, and then they put some targets, and well, what I want to say is the corporate strategy will drive the functional strategies. Every functional department strategy is their KPIs. How do they make KPIs? Basically, KPI is made from the functional strategies. Of course, the functional strategy must be in line to support the corporate, huh? Okay, that is the first step. Therefore, we can make KPIs based on the functional strategies. Sometimes we can use the word MBO. So your MBO will be the KPIs. Now, what I want to say is, if you give not consistent KPIs, not consistent with your functional strategies, very difficult to achieve. Little bit of nonsense. The functional manager will say yes. Do you know why he say yes to your unreasonable KPIs? Because the functional manager hasn't got a new job yet. He still need the current job. So he will say yes, yes, yes to whatever you request. Maybe he talk a little bit, but at the end of the day, he will still follow you because he still wants the job. He's not rich enough to find another job, right? He hasn't got a new job yet. So he will say yes. And then at the end of the year, KPI not met, no promotion, no bonus, he get upset, you also get upset. So the concept of KPI, now I'm not going to say anything, okay, maybe but HR department like to say KPI, KPI. It's like as if that's the only contribution they can have in the organization, is to make sure everybody got KPI and then scientifically prove you never achieve, you don't get a bonus or you don't get a promotion. That is entirely the wrong usage of KPI. Let's start from the very beginning. The strategic management manager, the chairman, the board of directors, what are their KPI? Top level KPI is very simple. Meet the organization objectives by ensuring that the functional strategies are implemented and done correctly. That's all. That's the top level one. The middle level one, the functional KPIs, are the KPIs related to their each functional department strategies. Shouldn't be a problem. Because you make the strategy. You, HR department, make your HR strategy based on our corporate strategy. So we measure you based on the KPI. What is wrong is KPI is reviewed quarterly, semi-annually, and yearly. That is wrong. The concept of KPI is wrong if you practice this way. It's like giving you a cane to cane people, possibility to cane or not to cane. Whether you achieve your KPI or not, that is the wrong concept of KPI. The correct concept of KPI is every day. Every day, if need be, look at your KPI and see what's the progress. How can we, every day, maybe small steps, little bit steps, doesn't matter. Every day, you must your activity must be supporting the KPI, which is the functional strategies. Achieving your functional strategy will show how good you are. And the rest of the KPI, like want to control you by bonus, that one doesn't matter. Because if you can do your corporate strategy correctly, and you implement correctly, and you can execute correctly, hey, your bonus and promotion will come automatically. So, if you're a manager, let's say you are a HR manager, you got your strategies, and then your KPI is based on that strategies. Now, your junior people also must be related to the same strategies. You, as the HR manager, don't worry so much about your own KPI. You, as the HR manager, please worry about the KPIs of your junior people. Make sure you must support, train, guide, that the junior people, each one of them, fulfill the KPI. Don't worry about your own KPI. Worry about the junior people more. Because if the junior people can achieve their KPI, automatically your KPI will be achieved. Ultimately, you will try to get the bonus and the promotion. That's how KPI should work. Not every half-yearly review. What's the meaning of review? Review means you are looking at your past achievement. And let me tell you, past achievement cannot be corrected because it's already in the past. You cannot do a correction of something in the past because the past already gone. So KPI should be the daily thing to make sure that you are moving forward day to day in the future, that you are achieving it, you're trying to achieve it. Is that understood? Think? Try?
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you come across KPIs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Sometimes you achieve, sometimes you don't achieve, sometimes the KPI you try to negotiate it down a little bit, correct?
Yes.
Of course. And that is precisely the problem. You are using KPI the wrong way. And the whole company using it the wrong way. And what do you get? Demotivated people and people trying to resign. Or people trying to find excuses. KPI, I repeat, KPI is daily monitoring, guidance, and training to achieve. Forget about the bonus and the salary increment. Once you achieve your KPI, it's automatically come. Opportunity knocks. You don't go and knock on the door. Okay, so now what I'm teaching you is practical, not the theory.
But Mr. Chia,
You, yes,
to be realistic, actually, for the Gen Z,
Gen
it
Z,
doesn't happen. Gen Z, they doesn't happen that way. For example, I always agree with you, Mr. Chia, because you're coming from manufacturing. Yes, KPI, is to let the staff to align with the company objective and goal, the strategy, right? However, come to Gen Z, they have the habit that they must see the reward, before they do any contribution to the company. Yeah. So when we have a KPI, of course, the company also have to tie, the KPI to the reward. For example, like just now you say bonus, increment, the one is not, shouldn't be like mentioned in the KPI. But because of this generation, sometimes if we don't mention the reward there, then they won't, they won't look into the KPI also. They couldn't be bothered, they don't bother about the KPI.
I did mention, once you make the corporate strategies, it should be informed to everybody. Once the functional department make their strategy, there's a big Bahau meeting. Okay, you need to explain why we have a corporate strategy, and we need to explain why there is a functional strategies, and we need to explain the KPI is for us to monitor. Okay, the progress of achieving. Okay, you never talk about linking KPI with money. For Gen Z or any level of about Gen Z or Y or X or whatever it is, okay, the steps are the same. Communicate what you want to do, convince them. If they are not convinced, okay, you go and do IE&E, come together we do. That's one best way to get them convinced. Okay, then you don't never mention and link it. You want to say, you say, okay, if this is done properly, okay, automatically it comes. You don't go and fight. You don't go and fight. Okay, let's say, for example, you are running 100-meter race. When you hit the tape and you become winner, it automatically come. People will take photograph of you, people will give you the present. But if you are saying that, oh, I want to know the present first, before I even start running, there's something wrong. And you accept it because you have the excuse of Gen Z. What excuse is that? We are running a company. We are not running for the sake of Gen Z. And if those Gen Z are like that, you don't need these people. You don't need these people.
We couldn't get all the, the company only run by Gen Z, Gen X or Gen Y, right?
The Gen Z must also understand because it's not an easy world outside. Gen Z, ask them how difficult is to find a job. Ask them right now. You know how difficult is to find a job? If they're still thinking that way, maybe they're the rich Gen Z or they're the starving Gen Z. When reality hits them, they cannot find a job, they cannot get what they want, then they talk differently. Because we're talking about practical, not theory. That's all. This kind of people, you don't have to care. Okay, you need to guide only. How they finally decide for themselves is up to them. You cannot actually control. But then you say, if that's the case, everybody will be all 50, 60 years old because they can understand this. The young people cannot understand. You'll be surprised. The young people also can understand. Okay, but they just use the excuse I'm Gen Z, that's all only.
Okay.
I tell you something. Business is a very tough job. Working is a very tough job. Okay? It's not going for a picnic or going for the cinema show. I like to say one, no? I pay you $200, I expect $400 return. You know how can I make profit? If I don't make profit, how am I going to pay you? That mentality must be written down. I find it very strange in Japanese company, not only in Sony, because I got a lot of suppliers in Japanese. They give priority to seniority. So even the senior cannot perform as good as a Gen Z, they will promote the senior. And why they do that? Because the Gen Z must understand that if you are loyal, you get a chance. So they are promoting people that are not so good, but not that bad also lah. But sometimes seniority counts. It's a different thinking entirely. The fact that you can think about this, it shows you already affected by it. And you forgot that what's the first thing I teach you in strategic management? Company must make profit, not to make the Gen Z happy. So you think making Gen Z happy will make company profit? No. It's making company profit, then you can give to Gen Z, then Gen Z will be happy. It's entirely different. The thinking is different. Maybe I come from that kind of environment, okay? So my thinking is different. Okay? I know as a fact, business is very tough. You are not careful, you may lose. That's all. So you don't try to find excuses. You think the competitor listen to your excuses? Do you think I tell my customer, hey customer, I charge you more because I need to pay more to my Gen Z? You think what the customer say? Hey, I don't care. You just sell me the product that I want at the price that I want. I don't care how you handle your Gen Z. That is the rule of business, to make profit. and all other things, ethics, corporate governance, social responsibility, don't pollute. Everything comes after you have made the profit. When you are rich, you can be generous. When you are poor, you cannot be generous. Very simple logic. And I don't know how to put it to you because maybe you have not really understand that the first rule of profit, the first rule of company is to profit. If Gen Z is like that, you know what I'll do? That job I subcon out. That's all. Then you go and think for yourself where you can find another job. That I don't care. What do I tell you just now? All the time I always tell you, I can always subcon out. Whether you're HR, production, marketing, anything I can subcon out. I don't care what the Gen Z say. You must play by the rules. Because the rule is very simple. Profit comes first. You understand? This is very, very tough decision. You know, have you retrenched people before? I have retrenched people before. I closed down factory before. There's one factory in Surabaya. I can tell you the name. Okay, it's called National Semiconductor in Surabaya. Okay, in Senawang Industrial Estate. I go and close the factory. You know what I mean by close? Okay, I sell all the assets. I'll be down there. Okay, oh, you tomorrow I'm going to come to work. You know how tough it is? I must have security guard always with me. I scared to be hit. Voila. Business can close down, and those people working there for 30, 40 years suddenly got no job. When you hire a person, you must be responsible for that person. Don't hire the wrong person. Because once you hire them, they are taking their salary to pay their employees, pay their family, their school fees, the car rental, car HP or house loan. When you hire people, that's why sometimes we get upset, no? Because we hire the wrong people. And when we have to sack them or when we retrench them because the business strategy was wrong, we had to close the factory, we feel very upset because we are playing with people's life. And people's life can only be guaranteed if the companies make profit and we keep on hiring them. So things like this, what you're telling me, you are still not getting the correct picture, unfortunately. And I don't blame you because you're still young. You are still young. You haven't even think seriously about this kind of thing. I have closed a factory. At that time, got 2,000 people. No, the husband and wife was working in the same factory. Immediately, they no job, and they are 30 plus. At that time, they have to feed their children. Okay, house rental, car rental. What are they going to do? You understand? Even general manager of HSBC, he lost his job. His BMW is on car loan. He has used a BMW to rent it out. What's that called? Soul car. He's renting out his soul car because his daughter is studying in Australia. Sometimes when the company make wrong strategies, it affects all the employees. Say so simple, but actually it affects all the employees' family, well-being, food. It's such a serious and such a very tough thing to do, to sack people. And it's also very tough to run a business. So we have to be in the upper level, sometimes have to be very cruel because business is cruel. It's like that. Because if you are not cruel, somebody jump over you already. That's most likely you will be bankrupt. Sorry, I think I'm not scolding you understand, not?
No, because I think totally the environment is so different. The business, the nature of business, the stuff that we are engaging also different, Mr. Chia. So I just, actually I do agree with you. The rules of thumb is profit come first.
Yes, but of course, like you say, you may have a metrics organization, let's say IT one, cyber security, that kind of people, that kind of business, right? Their business is metrics, not traditional top-down. You understand? Okay, therefore they need to have a lot of creative people. Even with creative people, it's still a business. Okay, now you can come to work very short times if you're working in a software company. Maybe you are, for example, working in Google or Microsoft because they value these people for their skills. right? So they are a little bit leeway, but still at the end of the day, okay, don't play. Sometimes we have to be cruel because we can subcon out. We are never worried. You must think from the management point of view because you guys are MBA. I'm preparing you guys not to become a departmental head. You understand, no? I'm preparing you guys to become executive directors. Okay, that's why I take trouble to explain certain things very detailed, like IEEE, OTSW, because I want you to understand. Okay, when you are in top level management, your thinking is different. You may be more cruel, but that's the price to pay. Because by being cruel, those who was not sacked in the company can still survive. Okay, that is what it means. Of course, I understand maybe you are an entrepreneur, you have a new company, and then suddenly you just come up as a company with one or two bright ideas, and you are entertaining your customer, and you are bringing in your new people, and your new people, some of them are Gen Z, and they think differently. You have to convince them. That's all. It's part of your job to convince them, okay, that they cannot have everything their way. Because outside is not so forgiving. That's the only thing I can say. Okay, huh? I hope we can move on from that thing. I don't know whether you're convinced, not convinced, but you just think about it carefully, whether it can apply or cannot apply in your company. But I'm not saying mine is the only way. Okay, my way of thinking is not the only way. You may have other ways, but it's always profit first. That one cannot change. Okay, huh? Okay, so now let me continue. When you implement strategy, one of the worst things that you can do is to make KPI linking to salary or linking to bonus. KPI is not to be used this way. KPI is to be used to ensure the strategies are being implemented and being performed correctly, and the result should be there. You know what is my biggest problem? One of my biggest problems is every year we have a salary increment. Okay? And I try not to have more than 10 people reporting directly to me. Maybe I only got around 7 general managers reporting to me. Okay? And each of these general manager or all functional people, in each of them, they think they do a very good job. Of course they do a very good job. They say, sir, I do a very good job. I'm a team player. I contribute a lot. Why I cannot get more bonus or be promoted? That's my problem. Because every one of them, 7 have the same idea. And we cannot promote everybody, and then we cannot give extra bonus to everybody. Right? So, what do I tell them? Don't tell me what you can do. Because it's expected. It's part of your salary. Tell me what you can do that other people cannot do. Show me that, do you know Cantonese? Ting ah? Ting? Where are you? Do you know Cantonese? Do you know
Yes.
Cantonese?
Yes.
Cantonese, you understand?
Can understand. Yes, I can understand.
So I got the 7 GMs. Each one of them think they are doing very good. Each one. Never one of them say they are not doing well. Each one think they are doing well and they deserve a lot. You know what I tell them? You know what I tell them? You are all doing well. It's okay. You're supposed to do well. If I pay you $100, you should give me $200 output. You know what for? I employ you. Now, you want to be promoted? Do something that other people cannot do. Do something that other people cannot do. And in Chinese, we call it why. Then we can promote you. Because when you are why, means other people, same level as you, all the other 7 general managers will agree. Even though they don't 100% agree, but they also cannot talk so much because they can understand you are why. Okay? Therefore, you should be promoted. No, but how to be why? You must not only just look at your own silo, HR. You must be able to antenna up. Go and look at the other departments so you can contribute more. Don't think you're the best HR manager. I don't need the best HR HR manager to be promoted. Okay, I need somebody who can do more. I give you a actual example myself. I'm an accounting background. Okay, they say want to make a big canteen, 2-story canteen. I never say anything. The boss select me to do. You know why? The boss say, "Oh, Chia, you can do." Yeah, why? So I go build the canteen. I build roads, car park. I go and see government. At the end of the day, right? I have IT, accounting, HR, procurement, purchasing, quality control, supply chain, all under me. I was earlier only an accounting background. I don't know all other type of jobs, marketing or production. I don't know quality, but my antenna is up. And because I can do things that other people cannot do, therefore, you get promoted to become the director. If the Gen Z don't think about contribution, can think about rewards first. Something wrong, something wrong, something wrong. Okay, something wrong. Okay, they cannot go far. Okay, now I give you another tip. If you are that senior level, you got 100% of the time. 50% must know how to manage your boss. Understand? 30% you must know how to manage the people at the same level as you. If you are a GM, you must manage your boss using 50% of your time. Not because you are blue-eye boy or because you want to carry, the very bad slang. No. By managing your boss, you will know you can control or organize him to think correctly. If your IE and EE not good, how do you manage him? You go and ask your boss and you put in all the factors for him, and then they sit down together. That's how you manage your boss. 50% when you are in a high level. Okay, 50% of the time you try to manage your boss. 30% you manage the same level as you. Because when you get promoted, you don't want people to complain about you also, or do not cooperate with you. Okay, 10% you manage your staff. Another 10% you manage yourself. That's one theory. Okay, what is different? Thinking is different. When you go to a certain level, your thinking should be different. You never heard of people telling you like that, because I'm telling you the practical. Okay, you got to think for yourself how to do. Okay, anyway, I'm a little bit crazy, so never mind. Okay. You know how to something, huh? I don't think, because it's not in any books. It's come from practical. It come from practical, that's all. Okay, okay, from current slides, contrasting strategy formulation with strategy implementation. So you can read yourself, okay? Position forces before the actual risk, and then strategy implementation. Most of these things that I'm going to teach now onwards or share with you onwards is basic. Okay, you can read by yourself, and you will have nearly the same thing when you go for another, maybe under HR management, they will teach you also this way of implementation, or if you go for accounting course, they also will teach you this kind of thing. So I won't spend a lot of time on this type of things. Okay, strategy, implementation, formulation. Most important is the formulation, and then the implementation. Try not to use KPI as a caning stick. Okay, and the KPI goals should be the same as your strategy goals. Okay, functional level. You have annual objectives. Basically, annual objective is your KPI, which is equivalent to your strategies. Okay, functional strategies. Okay, so you may have a long-term, more 2-year, objective one, and but anyway, corporate strategy should not be more than 3, I think. Okay, and the functional you can have 4 or 5 to support it. Okay, but it cannot be too much also. When you at the senior level, make sure whenever you ask people to give them the strategies, now they will always think about the current situation that they are in. Okay, so they will think of strategies that fit them, what is workable or what is achievable. Sometimes you have to look beyond that. You must have to give them extra resources so that they can look beyond what, because the new strategy is more difficult to implement or something new, right? So you must give them the resources, okay? And one of the best indicator is people keep on leaving or you keep on shouting at them. That's where you know the strategies at the functional level is not a correct strategy. Or your guidance and your training is not correct. The way you do KPI is not correct. Like I say, KPI is not at the end for salary increment. KPI is a daily thing. You keep on looking at your KPI to go and achieve it. Okay? And it's because if you don't have them to achieve on the daily, come on, at the end of the year, surely they cannot achieve, right or not? So let's not bother about this. Okay? Policy guidelines doesn't much. Okay, there are a lot of resources, financial, physical, human, technology. I also like to mention time. Time is a very important resource. Do we have enough time? Or are you late? Or are you late? Or you are early? So financial. Now, under resource allocation, okay, so your resources are limited. That's why I say we cannot have more than 3 corporate strategies. Okay, so best is I think 3 lah. You can have 2. It's okay also, as long as it's a correct strategy and it's everybody moving towards it. Okay, you don't need to have 10. Okay, that's think too much. Your resources will be thinning out. So when you do resource allocation, let's say for example, which is more important? Now we got a problem. Marketing say they are most important because they introduce the product to the customer, potential customer. Sales say they are more important because they are doing the actual selling. Production say you cannot sell unless I produce. Purchasing department say I am more important because I won't buy the raw material. Production you cannot produce, and so forth and so forth. Okay, so how do you do resource allocation? Very simple. Look at the strategies. Those strategy that has got a direct impact on your corporate strategy should be allocated more. Now, you may have a corporate strategy like, for example, HR has nothing to play, or accounting has nothing to play. It's fine. You don't need everybody to have their strategy 100%. Some departments are, how do I say? I don't use the word irrelevant, but I will use the word less important. Okay, some departments are less important. Okay, but sometimes you may still need them, right? So you should not allocate too much resources to that kind of department. Now, how do you know? Use your antenna, use your own brains. Okay, cannot be taught. Okay, you can only learn from try and error. Then I think that's one of the best teacher. Okay, resource allocation, conflict. Like I said, because of different KPIs, right? Purchasing buy cheap material, production go and throw it scrap. Okay, very simple. Okay, it happens quite often. Because the purchasing KPI is not in link with the production KPI. So disagreement between 2 or more parties. Now, as far as conflict is concerned, it's natural to have conflict. Okay, because we are human beings. The key is not to zero conflict. The key is when you have a conflict, how fast can you resolve? That's all. Okay, we will always have conflict. How fast can you solve is the key. Okay, don't try to stop conflict. Don't try to have training programs. Okay, how to reduce conflict. Yeah, by right, it cannot be resolved so easily because we are human beings. Okay, so let them have conflict, but make sure the conflict is bring out in the open and let's talk as a human being, right? And let's try to resolve it as soon as possible. That's all I need. Okay, conflict cannot be taught. Okay, conflict is not always bad. Okay, so if there is no conflict, it's single indifference. People don't care. Apathy. Apathy means people are too lazy. You know, it's very always you have when the CEO is very gung ho, right? And everybody is scared of the CEO. And then the CEO say A, everybody will say A. Nobody dare to say B because it will be shouted down. Okay, the CEO will shout them down. Is that good? No, I don't think it's good. Okay, I think you may have in your working life experienced these kind of things, right? And you can tell by yourself that you don't like it, right? So I think I don't encourage conflict, but I say if there's a conflict, go ahead to have conflict. Just solve it soon as problem. Okay, so if you have a conflict, the worst thing you can do is ignore the problem. Now there are two types of channels of communication in the company. One is the official one. Somebody came out memo, black and white, email, okay, or in the general assembly, verbal communication. The other one is called the grapevine. The grapevine is rumor spreading. Sometimes 1 plus 1 suddenly become 10. Okay, people add on, and then the facts are not accurate. That is the worst type. So try to open a communication. If possible, okay, if possible, important one, black and white. Self-management trade-off to offer extensive limited management development workshop and seminar, extensive or limited. I think a lot of training should be self-trained. Company, of course, you may want to things like your 7 habits now, that kind of training. But a major of the training should be individual. They should have their own initiative to train that by themselves. That sort of training is actually much better. It's like you. No, you come for MBA class. Why you want to come for MBA class? Maybe you want to have a better job, right? Most likely, right? Higher pay or whatever. So this is self-motivation, right? Because if not today, Saturday, you can go and see a cinema, right? But you're self-motivated, so you will learn more. So same as in the working environment, if you can have one of the bad things is that some people keep their knowledge to themselves because they think knowledge is power, which I agree. But by keeping it to themselves, they are not sharing it, maybe not so good for the one who's teaching and the one who's learning, right? So the best alternative is sometimes we cannot force the teacher to teach you, but you as the learner can force yourself to learn. Okay, so I think that's the best way. Now the other one is promote from within or hire from the outside. Sometimes you need to hire from outside, especially when you do not have the skills or the antenna for that particular job. Okay, but anyway, we take it very seriously when we hire a person. Now, okay, let's think carefully. You advertise, okay, job street lah, newspaper lah, I don't know how you advertise. Okay, for every advertisement, maybe you got, if you are lucky, you get 10 right in. If you are lucky, you get what, 50, 60? You know what the HR people do? They have to go through all these things, do the vetting before come for interview. Of course, you advertise, they write in, right? Then you call for interview, high position, maybe you interviewed 2 times or 3 times. Junior job, maybe you put them all together, straight one line. Okay, you talk first A, talk first B, talk first C, talk first, then you do interview. And then end of the day, what do? You appoint one person, and then you give them a temporary pass. This is a probation period, 3 months, 6 months. And then after 3 months, 6 months, then you good, you keep, no good, you sack. So what did they do in these 3 months? They threw their best, okay, because they want a job, or they do not want to do their best because they're looking for another job, right? So after the probation period, suddenly some of them change. Yes, because they already got a permanent job. Anything happen, they run to the labor office, right? So that's about it. So when you select people, you must select the person that fits your culture, most important, that fits your culture, not their capability. Okay, I don't care whether you're an MBA or a PhD or Form 5. A Form 5 person who take it about themselves to learn, okay, self-learning, can be better than a PhD student, right? They don't have so many A's. They are also maybe not so wealthy. They are poor people sometimes, and they work really hard. So it's difficult to say. But we always try not to sack people. And not to sack people means not to hire wrongly. Because once you hire wrongly, you have to sack them, and then we always got this thing. When we sack a person, you are not sacking one person. You are sacking the whole family. Because the family depend on this fellow to have the salary. So if the person is not correct, maybe they'll change it to another department. But try not to sack. Golden rule. If a job need 10%, you hire 8 people to do. That thinking. If a job needs 10%, you only hire 8. You tell the 8, work hard, we pay overtime. Then we think of productivity. We think of productivity improvement. Therefore, the job now don't need 10 people. With 8 people working and 2 hours overtime. Because of productivity gains, let's say, for example, using small teams, okay, small teams development, small groups cycle, what do you call that one? CC cycle, then the job become from 10% become 8%. From 8%, anybody resign, we don't replace. We tell the 7 people work hard, we overtime, and then we try to bring the productivity down from 8% drop to 7%. Very, very cruel. But we tell them, 10% job, we hire 8, you work overtime, it's good for you because you get more pay and your job will be secure. Because if it's a 10% job and I hire 10% and the business not good, I sack 2%. So instead of sacking 2%, now I already hire 8 and you work overtime. There's a trade-off. You want to be in this team, is something like that. You don't want, well, sorry. So we based on culture. That's about it. Think carefully. Like I say, this is a very serious, business is a very serious and very difficult. How you play the game is important because everybody you hire and everybody you sack, you are dealing with their family. Okay? Your mind should be more open. We are not just sacking one person. We are sacking the whole family because that person don't know can find job or not, don't know how long he need a job. In the meantime, they are suffering. Thinking must be different. Okay? Matching structure with strategy, no, doesn't really work. I'm not too much worried about organization structure. I'm very worried about the strategy. When the strategy is in place, right, then we come up our own functional strategy, then you can have whatever structure you have as long as the strategy is being met. Okay? Advantage of a functional organization strategy, very simple. Most companies will do functional, okay, except for maybe very high IQ type of employees, maybe you want to do a metrics, or sometimes you have, okay, now I need to tell you, you may be working in a big company and you got all various departments, okay? So let's say you're making shoes, men's shoes. And then we have 1 to 5. Okay, so we need to increase our profit. So maybe we already identified based on the OTSW that we need to make female shoes. We have been all the while making male shoes. So now we want to make female shoes. So what do? We get a project together, a project team. So we pick some people from marketing, some people from production, some people from accounting, some people from logistics and warehouse. And you see it together, and that is a project team. Right now, project team members got a problem. They have to report to the project manager. Project manager is now thinking about how to make female shoes. But these project members, after the project is over, they go back to the various department. You understand? So they are thinking they have 2 bosses. One boss is the immediate boss, now the project manager, and in the future must go back to the old department, which is the old boss. Okay, so sometimes because of 2 bosses, their loyalty become diverted or divided. And sometimes the old boss will ask the project, hey, what happening? And they will tell secrets or whatever, they will tell you out, you know. And can it be helped? No, it cannot be helped because we are human beings. Okay, so neither encourage nor discourage. Because to discourage project team members, to be 100% loyal to you and not 100% loyal to their former boss is illogical, because they know they have to go back to the old department one of these days when the project is over. So project manager is difficult, okay, because they have a lot of different loyalties. I don't know whether have you been a member of any project team, but if you have a member of any short-term project team, you will understand what I'm saying. Okay, so organizational structure, there is a functional structure, and now you're being pulled to a project, temporary project, special project, whatever it is, right? Then you have another structure. But you have to go back to the old functional, huh? Don't forget. Okay, so SBU, what is strategic business unit? Okay, maybe for example, strategic business unit can be by location, it can be by product. Okay, let's say for example, Coca-Cola. Okay, they are going by region, maybe Coca-Cola America, Coca-Cola Europe, Coca-Cola Asia. Why? Because the world is very much different between Europe and Asia. Okay, now within Asia, Coca-Cola Asia, they may split out into different type of strategic business unit. Coca-Cola Asia may be split out into Coca-Cola, right? Carbonated drinks, mineral water, Coca-Cola product, non-carbonated drink, herbal drinks. You know, the Coca-Cola also selling the tea, okay, the green tea. There are different type of business, different type of strategic business unit. Why? Because every type of business is a little bit different. Okay, so they will feel it's better to have strategic business unit. Then think carefully. Coca-Cola headquarters will have their own main strategies. Under that main strategy, every strategy business unit should follow. Common within the local context. Okay, they don't run away from the main strategy, but need to be adapted to local environment. That's all. Okay, now, another strange thing. When you're a very big company, okay, when you're a very big company, and let's say you have two strategic managers. One is doing Coca-Cola and one is doing mineral water. Okay, for Coca-Cola, two business units. Now, the Coca-Cola drinks is making good profit, and the mineral water is not making good profit. So now you start to complain about the mineral fella, right? Or even sack him or whatever it is. Then sometimes, okay, why don't we shuffle? The Coca-Cola manager who is very successful at Coca-Cola, and you go mineral water. Mineral water fella, you not so successful, you go Coca-Cola. Let's see what happens. Hey, after issuing the paper, it's still the same. The mineral water that was unsuccessful under the old manager is still unsuccessful even with the new profitable manager. Therefore, it's not the skill of the person, it's the job itself. And that's where sometimes we don't understand that just because one person do well in one area, when you transfer him to another area, he cannot also do well. Sometimes it happens like that. And if it's like that, it's not because of the person. It's because of the job or the business. That we have to do leeway. We have to give leeway. We have to give them some slack. Okay? It's like that. So, that's what you can see. Okay, that's what you can see. Is hopefully, if the person is so good, any job you can do, he can do. In theory. In actual, sometimes a good person go to a lousy industry, a lousy company, need time. Cannot be done so easily. Okay? Why? Because the OTSW is different. Coca-Cola OTSW is different from mineral water OTSW. Take time. Time to learn. Okay? Most of the time I'm telling you is the experience or practical one. We have a matrix, this is a very good matrix one. Okay, so you have all these people, they have their own people, then they send some of the finance department send some of the people to various projects. Don't forget, these people still have to go back after this project is over. Okay, so now this CFO got some job. He wants this fellow to do, but this fellow already be seconded to him. And this project manager, oh, you cannot see because I'm sharing. Hang on. Okay, let's look at the matrix structure. This CFO, he got 10 employees. So he sent 3 employees to the various projects, project 1, 2, and 3. Now he sent A to here. Now, sometimes CFO say, hey, I need him to do something now. Now, this fellow now in a dilemma. Should I help my old boss, but going to be my future boss because I need to go back? Or should I listen to this fellow who wants me to do the thing now? So this guy is in a dilemma. He will be always in dilemma because these two fellows always ask him to do things. He say, no, you already assigned here. You better listen to what I say. He say, oh, of course you assigned here, but hey, I'm your boss, in the past, and I will be the boss in the future. And he worried because if you don't listen to this fellow, when he go back, got no table for him to sit. You think it's a joke? It's not a joke. When he go back, okay, this project over already, he go back, you know what the CFO say? We already replaced you already. We don't need you now. Then what are you going to do? So that's why always think about going back. Because he always worry about have a job. That's what happens when you send managers overseas. Let's say you got a branch overseas and you send some people overseas. After that, visa 10 years or 5 years, whatever, they have to come back, isn't it? And when you come back in the meantime, you already employ somebody else. They got no job. So therefore, this fellow always listen to this fellow to try to preserve his future career when he go back. Think about that. Okay? When you are also going to be assigned as a project, or when you are sent overseas to work in your branch, please remember, you have to go back. You may have to consider your current boss, right, as your current project boss temporarily, because you have to go back. Okay? And therefore, when you are talking about implementing of strategies, this fellow also got one strategy, this fellow got one strategy, and then you are somewhere in the center. So you try to please both. Why? Why you need to try to please both? Because you're poor. You haven't got a new job yet. Who asked you to be poor? That's all. Okay? Demanded, ABC existing, not good organization, existing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, or whatever it is. Okay? Existing chart. So the proposed chart, maybe you have a different way of doing. Okay? So this one, is it good? I think maximum 7 to 8%. Last time I used to have 2 or 3% under me. Is easy to monitor, to control. My idea is very simple. I got 7 GMs. Each one of them have their own 7 general managers, senior manager. Each senior manager may have a few, not more than 7 or 8 people. So it cascade easily. Okay. If we have 10, I don't think it's a good idea. Too many people. Okay. Resistant to change. I think most of you all know you also resistant to change, so it's normal. So don't expect your employee also not resisting. Okay. Where does change come from? Your strategies. Every time you have a new strategy, it is a change. Of course, they resist because they're familiar with the old one. That is why I say KPI you must do daily. Then you can reduce resistance to change. Okay? And resistance to change is normal. It's a human being. Right? 7 human resource linking pay. Yeah. This one. 7 human resource issue. Linking performance and pay to strategy. No. You don't link. Just do your strategy and it will come automatic. Don't use in your mind that if I work hard, I get paid. No. Work hard first, it comes. You don't have to worry about that. Balancing work life with home life. Maybe now is the new generation of the Western. The old generation got no such thing. Work to provide money. So which is the better? I don't know. It's up to individual. Okay, you may have a balancing work life but low salary, or you have high salary, or your children is well taken care of. I depend on you. Developing a diverse. Why you want to have a diverse workforce? I don't want to have a diverse workforce. I want to have a workforce that can implement the strategy. So this kind of unimportant things. Using caution in hiring. Oh, okay. I'll give you an actual example. One of our supervisor in Sony, he went to apply for Panasonic. The Sony is in Bangi, Panasonic is in Shah Alam. He went to apply as an assistant manager. So he didn't tell us, we didn't know, we don't care. Suddenly one phone call come in from the MD, the head of the Japanese solar, the head of Panasonic in Shah Alam, called my MD. And he say, hey, we got one Sony fellow come in for interview and we like him. Can we employ him? You understand the logic? The Panasonic MD called my Sony MD because Sony, one of the supervisors, want to leave our job, join the other company as her assistant manager. Normal Malaysian, we got such thinking. You want to work, you don't work, I hire another person. That's all. I don't care where you come from. I think you're good, I pay you, you come. But not in their culture. Why do you do like that? Huh? Because you're hiring a rival employee. The supervisor in Sony got Sony skills. They're going to use the Sony skills in Panasonic. May or may not use. But as a matter of courtesy, they call. And you know what my Sony manager, my MD say? Okay, it's all right, you can go ahead. But I'm going to tell you, if my Sony MD say no, the Panasonic will never employ, no matter how good the employee is. You see, the thinking is really different one, no? In the higher management people. Huh? Very funny one. Okay, but you may need to think carefully why they do it. Then you can understand. Okay. But here in Malaysia, it's so good. It's good to teach people because they already been trained. You understand? In Malaysia, it's good. In many countries, it's the same. I will employ my competitor people because they have been trained already, and I can get some secrets from them. Right? So, but it's not that way of thinking if you are a little bit higher management. Using caution in monitoring employee social media. Why you want to monitor employee social media? The boss themselves also going to Facebook and YouTube all the time. Never forget about it. Make sure they just do their strategy correctly. Developing a corporate wellness program. That's okay. There are no issue. Linking performance to pay strategy. Need to support the long term. This one is inside the syllabus and it's what is normally taught. But I don't believe. Okay? You don't have to link. Just do. It will come automatic. Okay? If I'm linking, I will be forever accounting background, only become accountant. Okay? That's all. Very simple thinking. Okay? If I think all the time about pay and bonus, I will never move out from accounting because I'm familiar with it. I'm good at it. I don't need to raise my antenna. And therefore, I will not get promoted to become the executive director. Understand? Okay? Balance work and home life, yeah, this is the new thing. So, depending on the culture, if you have, if you don't have, too bad. Who asked you to be poor? Okay? Ways and means for alternate organization culture. Okay, recruitment, training, transfer, all this is normal. Monitoring social media, strategic marketing issues. Have I tell you something I still got around? Oh, 5:30 already. Yeah, I'll tell you next week. Okay, so far, have you got any question for me?
No.
No? Okay, you may not believe what I say is all right. Don't worry. Okay, it's up to you. Okay, but I hope you just try for yourself the IE and EE. Okay, and then do your analysis at least for homework to train yourself and think carefully about what I say about KPI. Okay, KPI should not be so negative one. Okay, it should be a positive thing. So now wait have you all submit all your coursework already?
Not yet, sir.
Anybody got any problem? Oh, many people sign up already. Okay lah. So if you have nothing, I also would like to sign up. Just wait. I want to stop the recording. Okay.